Hi there, it's Mama Bear from Heart of the Matter, Professional Organizing. Glad to have you here with me in my kitchen this afternoon. And this is a Saturday in October, and this was kind of a spur of the moment thought to actually do this video today, but because I was hit with a case of really needing to follow my own advice and realizing how hard it is and giving me another level of insight into what a lot of our clients go through. So I want to give you a little bit of backstory. So I'm here in my kitchen with my cupboard doors open and want to tell you a little bit about the thought process that I had this past week, and then how things just unfolded today. So I had been thinking to myself that I have had Corelle dishes for a long time. It's a combination of two different sets. I've got some plain white ones. I've got some other with a pattern on. These are starting to get some black marks and that sort of thing on them. But I do love Corelle because they basically don't chip. And with dishwasher and all that sort of thing, plus they take up very little space. Like I probably have a stack of easy 10 or 12 plates there and just taking up a small amount of space. But I had been thinking the last week or so, you know what, I've used that for ages and I would really like something different. So then, as today unfolds, so a little bit of backstory too. My daughter Hayley and her husband Bennett have just recently moved to Ottawa. They left Waterloo and have moved to an apartment in Ottawa. And so they were back today just to, because they had their apartment until the end of September, back today to just do the final clear out and pick up of a few items. And some of the items that were on the pickup list for them yet were these two bins. So these two bins were, one was my mom's, Hayley's Nana's china, and the other was her crystal. And my mom had wanted Hayley to have these, and Hayley wants them. And so at the first apartment in Waterloo, Hayley, when she moved in there, we did unpack them and we put them up in the cupboard above the fridge. She didn't use them the whole time she was there, but they were unpacked at least, because I thought, well, if they're in bins, there's no way she's going to use them for sure. And so anyway, they were unpacked. Then it came time to pack her up to go to Ottawa. And at that point, they were in these tubs and going to go along. So yesterday, I get a text from Hayley and it says, big ask. Mom, is there any chance that I can store those two bins of Nana's china and crystal at your house? So enter first level of following my own advice, because I have told a lot of clients that if your kids are storing their stuff at your house, you got to come down hard and you've got to, if they care about it, they're going to have to find their own space for it. Well, I am a bit of a softie like lots of the moms out there. And I thought, well, I do have room for these two bins in my crawl space. So my message back to Hayley was, as long as you and Ben carry them upstairs, open up the crawl space and put them in the very furthest back corner so they're not in my way with what I need to access for Christmas decor and that kind of thing. Yes, absolutely, you can store them at my house, because my mummy heart in me wanted her someday, when she has a house and has some space, to actually use these good dishes. So anyway, then fast forward to this morning when Hayley and Ben are going to come over and they're going to bring these two bins, which they did. So they've been here this morning. But it occurred to me, if Mama Bear was to follow her own advice, it would be use the china. Don't pack it away. Even if it's not dishwasher safe, put it in the dishwasher, use it, enjoy it. And so that it will have that sentimental value, but you'll be seeing it, you'll be using it, and making that more of a thing. So as I got thinking about it, I thought, well, why don't I have a conversation with Hayley and see what she thinks about this whole thing? And what about if I got rid of my Corelle, as I've been thinking of doing anyway this week? So it's interesting how God works and brings about things all within the time span of a short little period of time. So why don't I get rid of my Corelle dishes? Why don't I move my own good dishes, which I have stored here, and I use them fairly often. They're just plain white with a nice raised border on them. So definitely dishwasher safe. Why don't I move my good dishes over here and use them regularly? The odds of things getting broken are fairly slim. I mean, accidents happen, but for the most part, it's just Murray and I here, and we're relatively careful as things get loaded and unloaded from the dishwasher and using them. So why don't I bring my own dishes over here, get rid of the Corral, donate them, they're still very donatable, bring my own good dishes over here and make room up here for my mom's good dishes so that they would actually get used. And so as I talked to Hayley about this right away, she said, go for it. I will always have access to them at some point when I am ready to have them. And I agree. They're her Nana's dishes, and between her and I, if we use them, then that's a good thing. Then we're seeing them, we're remembering them, we're enjoying them. We get used to seeing them, and they're not tucked away in a bin in the attic, or they're not tucked away because they're too good to use. And I decided too that when I use them from up here, I'm going to put them in the dishwasher. What's the worst thing that could happen? Some of that silver edging is going to come off. I know that in later years my mom did start putting them in the dishwasher occasionally. She didn't do it every time because that was hard for her to do, but you know what? I'm thinking, let's just use them, let's just enjoy them. And it's kind of hard for me to actually think about following my own advice, but it is what I'm going to do. And I want to just tell you another quick story. You're not going to see a picture of this in the video today, but I am going to post one down below in the blog so that you can see it. Some of you who've been on tours of my house through the years have probably seen it before, but we had a coffee table that Murray had made out of big, thick planks that were part of our house in New Hamburg. When we renovated in New Hamburg years ago, these old beams had to be replaced, and so Murray made us a coffee table out of these beams that we used, well, we used it in our living room for a while, and then we also used it on our front porch. And so when we left New Hamburg, we brought it along, and it was our coffee table here in Kitchener. Then when Hayley and Ben, about the time they were getting married, they needed a coffee table, and Hayley was quite excited with the idea of having this coffee table, and by that time I was too. I liked the idea that she was going to have it, but I was ready for a coffee table, and this you will see in some of our other videos, with a little bit of storage space. Because we have a smaller house, it was nice to have a coffee table with some drawers and a spot underneath to put some baskets. So I quite willingly passed along this coffee table to Hayley and Ben when they got married. So for the first year of their marriage, they had it in their apartment in Waterloo, and it was going to go with them to Ottawa. But now that they're in Ottawa and see their space, they realize, like me, that they would rather have a coffee table with some storage in it. So this morning, this coffee table that was still sitting in Waterloo and was supposed to go to Ottawa today, came back to our house, and Hayley said, Mom, you know what, we're gonna just donate that coffee table because it's not, what we wanted. She said it very nicely, very kindly, and not expecting that I would have any problem with it. And it was interesting how it hit me. And this is totally what we talk about with our right-sizing clients all the time. We do a presentation and there's a room full of people, and I put the question out, how many of you want your kids to want your stuff and they don't want it? And there's a ripple of chuckles through the room because it's true, and it so hit me this morning. I don't really want that coffee table at my house because I'm quite content with what I've got here. But it has sentimental attachment to me. Those are the beams from our old house, and Murray made this coffee table. And I want my kids to want that table because then I feel okay about it. It's kind of like it's going on. The history and the sentimentality of that is going on. And you know what? I have to follow my own advice. Beyond a little bit of gentle persuasion, I don't want to make Hayley and Ben feel guilty that they should be taking this coffee table when they really don't want it. First of all, it's big and awkward, and where would they hide it? And when they weren't using it so that they could put it out when I came, obviously they couldn't do that. And so I'm feeling the same sort of thing. And I'm realizing that I need to feel the feelings, remember the memories, but the reality is it's just stuff. And I don't want to make waves with Hayley and Ben. If I cared that much about it, then I would need to find a spot for it here. And believe me, my head's been going, where could I put it here? But the reality is, I literally don't have a spot for it in this house, unless I got rid of the other coffee table. But anyway, today, this video is all about Mama Bear needing to follow her own advice. Memories are tied up in our stuff for sure, but we need to use the china, pass along the coffee table to someone who will use it and enjoy it. And thank you so much for listening in today. And I bet you that some of you are up against these same sorts of things. And my challenge to you is use the china.